please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Miss
Miss
Smith?
Smith, here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
It's one person out and it screws the whole order up, we know.
Right.
Exactly.
Can I get a motion on the reports?
Okay, on the reports, I'll make a motion that we approve the code compliance, code enforcement and dog control officer reports for July, and the Patterson Fire Department and Putnam Lake Fire Department first and second quarter 2019 reports. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Can I get a
Aye.
motion on the supervisor's report?
I will make a motion that we approve the supervisor's report for June. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion on the audit of the bills?
I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 14 dated July 26, 2019 in the amount of $510,722.34. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Rich, the minutes, town board minutes.
I missed the
missed.
town board minute? I did miss the town board. Can I get a motion on the town board meeting minutes for July 10th and July 24th?
Motion that we approve the meeting minutes, of July 10th and July 24th, 2019. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who has the budget transfers?
Me. I will make a motion for the town board to approve, formally approve budget transfer request number 18 to be so entered into the accounting department.
Just, if I could jump in here, I think all we need to do is recognize that the 2009 budget transfer request number 18 approved at last meeting was actually budget transfer request number 19.
That's what I was getting to, but we had to listen to 5 minutes of you saying all of that, but I'll take that as a motion, and then I'll second it.
Oh. Fair enough.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have budget transfer request number 20 with regard to Putnam Lake Park District Equipment Capital Outlay, moving $6,200 from Parks Contractual to Parks Equipment and Capital Outlay. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next, we have Parks Contractual Club Court, moving $2,500 from the contingency account to the Parks Contractual Club Court expense account. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mary, you're up.
Okay, the first item on my agenda are recreation requests. There was previously an error made in Cassidy Speller's pay rate for the season. At the start of the season, we had approved her guard rate at $16.20 per hour, but she has been actually receiving the last year's head guard rate at $15.90 an hour. So I'm making a motion to approve the retroactive pay along with the correction in the salary rate for the amount of, let's see, it was at 30 cents per hour for Cassidy Speller for the 2019 summer lifeguard program. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay. The second rec request is the fall 2019 program prices for the Town of Patterson Recreation Center. I would like to make a motion to approve the following fees for attending these programs. For Edible Creations, we have $145 with an additional $135 for siblings. We have Kid Cooks program at $129 per participant with $119 for any additional sibling. Cupcake Wars, $145 and $135 for each additional sibling. We are having pizza night, I guess holding steady at a $12 per night. The soccer program will run for $65 and $55 for the additional siblings, and the tag sales space rental will still be $25 per space and $10 if you'd like to rent a table. The same fees are in place for the holiday bazaar. We have $25 for the space rental and $10 for a table rental. Body burn is $72 per session and a $12 drop-in fee per class. The Gaelic football is $80 and the flag football is $100, which includes your required jersey, and $90 for the additional siblings. It will be $85 if you're using your jersey from last year, and $75 per sibling that also has a jersey. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the fall 2019 program pricing for the Town of Patterson Recreation Center. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The second item on my agenda is the county easement for Fairfield Drive. So it looks like Putnam County is asking us to enter into an agreement with them for an easement so they could work on their project for the Bridge New York. This is located at 600 Lakeshore Drive and Fairfield Drive. The amount they are, and I just read this over, so I just want to make sure I understand this properly. They're working on some type of Putnam Lake outlet drain replacement or some type of water at a bridge, and they're looking to use 557 square feet of our property while they're doing this.
They are taking a piece of our property,
Mhm.
and they are taking an easement on another piece of our property so that they have room for their equipment to work.
Okay, that's what I thought. So it looks like the agreement is for 2 years, and they will be restoring it back to the original way that it looked after they're done.
Hopefully, they're going to restore it to a better condition.
Oh, okay. All right, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement between Putnam County and the Town of Patterson. Do you want to add something?
I'd like to add that, subject to such changes as would be acceptable to the town attorney, a couple of minor things on their contract that I would like to raise with them.
Can you inform us as to what they are?
Yes, one says, first off, I want to make sure there's no misunderstanding that we're going to give a quick claim deed.
Okay.
Secondly, while I know we're not dealing with a substantial piece of property as far as size, there's a provision in their contract that says seller shall be responsible to satisfy liens and encumbrances on the property. That needs to be defined a bit. Encumbrances of record, they should be accepting, and we'd like to see a title report, I think, to see what they are before we agree to that. So I'll touch base with the county engineering department. John Tully and Fred Penner are the ones who sent it over, and ultimately the county attorney if needed.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
So-
might want to go
Yep.
attorney to attorney on
Well, let
this.
them know that in my experience in dealing with them on similar matters, those fellows really spearhead it, and I don't think there's any problem with me talking to them first, then subject to any changes. The
So
county
when
attorney.
are they looking to start the work?
2 years ago.
Oh, so then we'll table this.
No.
No, I
No.
wouldn't suggest we
No.
table it,
We
just,
need to move this. For everybody in the audience, what we're talking about is the big culvert that goes under Fairfield Drive at the dam, that half of it is now gone. And this should have been replaced a long time ago. The town engineer, probably 8 years ago, notified the county that there were serious deficiencies within the culvert, i.e. that the bottom of the culvert is rusted out and gone. It took them forever to get this grant. And the grant, they've actually had to go back and extend the time in which to get the work done. Because under this Bridge New York, if you get the funding, they want the work done that same year.
and given those circumstances, Mary, I wouldn't recommend tabling it. It's a very minor transaction as far as the amount of money is concerned. Also, the items that I have questions with are routine
Oh,
and
okay.
customary comments. They're not essential
So it's not
terms.
going to change the agreement?
It should not,
It's just
well, it might change,
pending.
it might change the agreement. I don't think that I need to raise the quitclaim deed with them because the contract doesn't describe the type of deed, but I'm recommending to the board that we give them a quitclaim deed, and which basically means that the town makes no representations with regard to the condition of title of the property, and that they, in all likelihood, already have a title report. So the second matter that I raised should be quick work, just to receive a copy of it and make sure that we really shouldn't be agreeing to satisfy any liens and encumbrances. And that should be easily built into this, because the title report, no doubt, already shows clear title. So I don't anticipate any problems, just in the chance that something might arise. We don't want to be in a position that says we have to satisfy a lien if the property's subject to some ancient mortgage or something like that. We don't want to be responsible for it.
And I am hoping they are gonna start this work and get it all finished this fall,
Yep.
rather than wait till the spring when the waters are flowing fast.
Yep, it should be quick work. I think talking to
I
John,
would hope.
well, I mean the legal side should be quick work.
Yes.
I do think talking to John Tully first is the best way to get it, because then he'll get in touch with the county attorney and keep things moving.
John is always my go-to guy over
Yep,
there.
for
Yeah,
sure.
he's a
So
great
they're
man.
good. And their staff at the county attorney's office has been bolstered somewhat by at least one new attorney, so I think it'll be quick. So with that,
So with
I'd
that.
suggest you
I was-
throw it on the table for
So we'll
consideration.
motion to approve the agreement between the Putnam County and between Putnam County and the town of Patterson regarding a temporary easement to 557 square feet of real property and all right, title, and interest to 286 square feet of real property.
That's right.
Okay.
Like a real
For
property conveyance.
public right-of-way purposes only, located at 600 Lakeshore Drive and Fairfield Drive. Do you want the parcel number in there?
No, thank you.
Okay. As recorded in this.
As per the
agreement.
attached map?
As per the attached map, okay, as per the attached map, so
Great.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's all I have.
Charles?
Next on the agenda is Victory Cup, and this is before us, a request for a public assembly permit to conduct an event at 683 Route 311 at the end of August 30th and 31st this year. I believe we have a gentleman representing the applicant. If you'd be so kind to come up and just kind of give an overview of what's going to happen.
If we could, Tom, if we could start with your name first.
Absolutely. Good evening. My name's Tom LoSavio. I'm here to represent Victory Cup. Okay, and what we're looking to do is do an event out there, which is a polo match and a balloon festival, which is hot air balloons. So that's what we're looking to do out there today, on the August 30th and 31st.
And the website says that the balloons they're a tethered balloon. They go up, they're only going up so many feet.
They're only going to go up about
Correct.
15 to 20 feet. They're tethered and
Oh, that's
secured to
low.
the floor. And it's basically for the families to go up and take photos. Okay, they're tethered, secured to the floor, and they do not leave more than 15, 20 feet.
The website showed that the event was being held last weekend, August 10th, and there was the ability to even buy tickets on the website, which I was surprised because I almost bought tickets to it. And
Correct.
Plans changed, but there was no advertisement, and I think there might have even been permits taken out for that event.
There originally were, yes.
Yeah, so it
Yes,
just
that
was
was our
canceled?
planned date.
Oh, okay.
That was definitely our planned date. What happened was we had 2 events here in New York.
I see.
We brought it together. We wanted to keep it up in Patterson because we've had it here last year. We
Yeah.
did well here. We brought commerce here and everything like that. So
Sure.
we're doing basically the same thing as last year, except we're bringing balloons this year,
Understood.
is what we're doing. But yes, we had an event in Westchester, which we canceled. So we moved that date.
So
to
the
this date.
August, the last weekend event was initially, it was a tentative date, and then you backed out of it, or what happened?
No, our date in our August 30th, 31st
No,
was for.
August 10th.
Correct, that was our date, that was our set date. Really wasn't tentative because we planned on doing it. We had contracts for Westchester to be actually at the Westchester College for the
Got it.
30, 31st. That didn't really go as well as we planned, so we moved everything.
So you
to the
canned the
31st.
Westchester event, canned the August
Absolutely.
10th, and then settled on the August 30th.
We used that
Focused on one
time
event.
to
Fair enough.
gain ground and catch up with everything
Got it.
because we had to move all the dates and everything like that and get everybody out here. Correct.
Okay. Do you know if people actually bought tickets to the event for last weekend through this automated system that you had?
We did have tickets sold.
Oh, okay.
And then they could
All right.
use it. Yeah, absolutely. There's no,
Okay.
it doesn't say a date on it. You bring the ticket
Oh.
and it's set.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
So the question I have, Rich, is that this event, we've had this event multiple times. This is what, the third year, fourth year at least? Maybe more.
Yeah,
maybe
we've had quite a few years.
And the only question I have is because it seems like every time we review an application, there are deficiencies. Can we not get an approved application and we say, literally almost photocopy this approved one and replicate it so that there's not, to me, it seems like we should be able to get this approved and not have questions if they continue to propose the same approvable plan. But it seems like it's taking unnecessary work on your part and on the town's part. And that's just a waste of resources.
The only thing we did different this year is we're adding the balloons. That's it.
And
True, but the application keeps coming in incomplete.
Right. Incomplete. I'll notify Joe on that.
We currently have an incomplete application still.
Okay.
I think because of the timing in this, we're going to extend ourselves again this year and set a public hearing because
we're out of time.
yeah, I mean, we're out of time. We're gonna have the public hearing and hopefully issue the permit a couple of days before the event.
Okay.
And if anything goes wrong, you know, we get a crowd in here that says, no, we don't want it.
We got.
You know,
Understand.
we're gonna have some issues. I don't foresee it because again, this has been going on for a long time.
Right.
But I'm gonna send another email out with the deficiencies. For example, I asked for signed statements from the property owners saying that they're authorizing the event to occur on their property so that we know that you have the right to be there.
Absolutely, to congregate there.
I got the blank documents back. So,
Okay.
not your fault, I know
No.
that, but I'm gonna send.
But
an
I am
email out
representing them, so
tomorrow.
I do understand, and I will do what I have to do to forward this and let them know what's going on
Okay.
here.
But to be clear, we need this information a week before the public hearing, at the very latest.
Okay.
And it all has to be done.
And this all comes back from the standpoint of wanting to have a successful and safe event, but to have time so people aren't running around like crazy in the middle of the summer to get this event. Now, as the supervisor said, we're up against the wire and doing things rush. When we've
Agreed.
known maybe about it for, maybe you've known about it for months. And so my plea to you is to bring back the message that we should be applying for this in like June for an August event. And know that, hey, here's last year's application that was approvable. Let's double check it. I mean, we can get an intern to check this stuff and make sure it's done. This is not high level work, but make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed and put it in. Because from my perspective, my concern is if they can't fill an application out, what are they doing to run the event? I
Agreed.
know it's different people and I hope it's different
Yeah.
people, but the people responsible for getting the permit,
Right.
hopefully the people running the event are a heck of a lot more talented. That's the reality of it. So this isn't year one for you guys, this is year 5, 6, 7, and we're having the same problems. So I'm just saying that I want this next year to not be up against the wire again. Or maybe we
Agreed.
won't set the public hearing, but, you know, it's unfortunate and it's not the way we want to do business. We want you here and we like the event, but it's unnecessary scrambling, that's all.
I agree.
So
I
I
agree.
appreciate it. It's not directed at you, please
I
understand.
understand. That's
Thank
why
you.
I'll bring what's necessary back to them
Thank
and then let them know what's going on tonight, first thing, as soon as I get in the car. You know?
With that, can I get a motion to set a public hearing for the Victory Cup event for August 28th?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Rich, can I ask,
So-
can I ask a question? I'm not, I have to say, I'm not familiar with the site plan.
Yes.
Is there an area designated on it for the tethering of the balloons? And
They
are
are apparently gonna tether that, I don't know how they're gonna do this, but they're gonna tether them in the area that the polo match is gonna occur.
Correct. When there's no polo going on, it's tethered in the same area as the polo match. Because then when the horses and everything are on the way, that's all big field, so they come out and we tether them down there. There's only gonna be 2 balloons, there's not gonna be that many. So that's where it is, and then the public gets to walk out with no rush.
Can I ask you a question? I see
Yes,
there's a
ma'am.
petting zoo on the map here. Are those animals that are there boarded, or are we bringing animals in?
I wouldn't know that. I'd have to ask Joe, to be honest with you. I know the polo horses, we're bringing them all in. The animals that are being for the petting zoo, I'm not 100% sure. I can't answer that.
And I could just tell you, I'm from the office of the town attorney, so the insurance, I know insurance has been submitted. I think we needed a copy of the declarations page, but I'm gonna just
Copy of the
double.
declaration page?
Yes,
Okay.
that's one, but making sure I don't know if the ballooning triggers any other type of coverages.
They do have a policy for all that.
So we need to make, so as far as your due diligence in getting the application complete, that's certainly gonna be something that we'd wanna see. And the only other thing that jumps to my mind is whether there's some standards that you should specify on the plan or in a letter as far as the separation between the two balloons that go up. I mean, just the standards of the, National Ballooning Association or something.
It's kind of hard to do that. My understanding of hot air balloons and the separation distance is based on the daily wind speed.
Well, they bring out their own people with them that have safety and all that. And if the winds are too high, above 5-6 miles per hour, they don't go up
Yeah.
at all.
Understood.
So they know the distance they need to use. We don't tell them what it is because this is their national, they do this. And if they have wind meters and they check the forecast and they tell us they're going up or not going up.
Yep,
You know,
understood.
we don't tell them in any way, pressure them in any way. If they say it's not going up, they don't go up.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
great.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your
Appreciate it.
time.
Next, we have on the agenda is the shared assessor agreement, and we're going to table that for, until after we have our executive session. Next, we have the tax certiorari settlement between the town of Patterson and National Auto Sprinkler and Fire Control Association. And an agreement has been reached between our attorneys and the National Auto Sprinkler Company or Association, Inc. And it's relative to Section 24-19, Block 1, Block 4, as listed on the 2018 and 19 assessment rolls. The Town of Patterson and the petition have agreed to settle the proceedings by reducing the assessed valuation of the subject premises on the 2018 assessment roll as follows. The original assessment, $2,886,600 down to $2,300,000. And the 2019 assessment, original assessment, $2,500,000 to $2 million. And so I will make a motion that the town board approve this resolution, one, as read, and second, that we be further resolved that John Hogan of the firm Hogan and Rossi, Patterson's town attorney, and other members of said firm is hereby authorized and directed to sign on behalf of the town of Patterson said consent judgment in the form annexed here too. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Did you like that?
Yeah, I did. Multitasking.
Yeah. You can do application for Veterans Park as well if you want to do that too.
Oh, okay. Well done, Charles.
I'm done.
Alrighty, thank you, sir. The first item we have is a letter from our maintenance supervisor, Dennis Mays, relating to the Fox Run water supply. Recently, we were notified that we needed a new flow meter on that water supply, and Dennis had asked Semco, our contractor who takes care of that system, for replacement at a cost of $974.93. So I will move that we replace that, or pay for replacing that water meter at Fox Run water supply, so Fox Run water treatment plant. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next item is a conference request. I'd like to table that till the end of the meeting because it relates to the item that Charles tabled before. It's a conference request relating to the assessor's office. The next item is an alcohol policy for Veterans Park. The board has been discussing and going through revisions to the alcohol policy for,
Town attorney added that.
oh, okay, for the potential for people who are renting the pavilion at the Veterans Memorial Park to allow service of alcohol at their parties. In the past, that has been done with some strict regulations, and we are looking to codify some additional changes. Essentially, it means that The alcohol remains within the pavilion area, that there's an insurance policy that names the town as an additional insured, and it looks like there are some statutory limits and coverages for some additional liability insurance that the town attorney has added in, so we have copies of that for the board. The application essentially asks, will alcohol be consumed at the event? And if you check yes, then you are, you proceed to the alcohol use policy. And when you've met the insurance requirements and you agree to the policy, then you can do that at a, family party, let's say. Unfortunately, there have been instances most recently that have occurred where people have done, have had alcohol at their parties, and of course people sometimes get out of hand and things happen, so that always brings it to our attention. People aren't always their best reflection of themselves after they've had a couple too many drinks, I guess, including probably all of us at one time or another in our life. And so we are looking for approval of this amended policy with the additions that were added tonight relating to the insurance and liability
Yeah,
coverages.
indemnification.
Indemnification, thank you. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And that's all I have.
Do you want to do the application form?
So, the application form, of course, was amended as the comment that I said really just asked the question, provides a list of the alcohol use policies. So, make a motion to approve the rental agreement form as amended and dated revised 7/25/19. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay. I was contacted by Wells Sanitation. For those not familiar, Sanitation District 2 collects garbage. It's a municipal district. And we run the trucks up to Dover and dispose of it at a transfer station run by Wells Sanitation. We currently have an extended contract that runs until 2020 for a price of $91 a ton. Well, she contacted me and indicated that due to a number of factors, including increased road costs and closure of some landfills that they were using, that their costs has skyrocketed, and initially came to me requesting, I believe it was $110, an increase in the middle of the contract of $110 a ton. Didn't think much of that. And we've been going back and forth, and I've slowly gotten them down to $98 a ton. This does not affect the Putnam Lake area, but it will. So they are looking for us to modify the current contract conditions right now so that we would increase it from $91 a ton to from $91 a ton to $98 a ton for the next 6-month period. That would reflect annually, I believe, about an $18,000 increase, given the tonnage that we're currently doing.
Yeah.
I have some real concerns with this, but I also, we have checked around. Russ, you want to weigh in on this anytime you want. We have checked around, and I don't know that we're going to be doing, if we decide to break this contract or go bid it out, we're going to be doing better than $98 a ton.
Based on the time frame, it looks like we're getting ready to rebid it anyway, so,
I agree.
right, so we're just really, this is a
The
stopgap.
contract ends February.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
And the increase is consistent with the CPU, is it?
no, it's, it's almost a
CPI.
7% increase is what they're asking for.
Yeah,
Well-
they're basically doing the CPI going back,
Yeah,
so.
CPI is actually 8%, so.
But when we bid this thing out, I can tell you, we're gonna be looking at numbers well over $100.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think we have
I
much
mean,
choice.
my opinion is, I would rather keep them somewhat happy and accept the increase, but see no reason to accept an increase for 6 months. If we're gonna do it, we should do it for a year,
Oh,
because I think
lock in
$98
savings.
is gonna be a good price for the next year, next time when we bid it out. We're gonna be looking at somewhere between $105 and $120 a ton.
Are they willing to do that?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because it doesn't say that.
Everything's a negotiation.
That's right. Well, maybe
So
we should.
what you're saying is that if we're going to amend the current contract anyhow to
Yeah.
$98, instead of it lasting until February, let it go through December 31st,
Well, at least June.
or at least June.
Let's see what they'll do.
Okay.
Tell them that one town board member was adamantly opposed to this, but he accepted based on the amendment to the time change. You're a tough cookie, Charles.
What's everybody's opinion?
I agree with you. I mean, this is a stopgap measure that we obviously have to do.
Yeah.
And then if we can get more time into it, it's a cost savings.
I
aim-
agree.
aim
I
high
think-
at December 31st.
You know, and hopefully they'll feel that we're reasonable people to deal with.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean,
I'd like to make a motion that the town board authorize the town supervisor to negotiate an agreement with Wells Sanitation for a tipping fee of $98 a ton for a one-year period.
Second.
to amend the current contract.
Well, I'm not sure whether we're
Yeah.
amending it or redoing it.
Yeah, it
but-
doesn't matter. Second.
I think it would be an amendment and an extension.
So be it.
Don't agree with them.
Right, it's an extension via an amendment.
So we have a motion, we have a second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Good luck.
Yeah, I don't think they have
All right, next up, Veterans Park. This is a project that I've been working on for God only knows how long. And this is the beginning. This is the agreement that provides enough funding with the grant so that we can actually do the project. We've got the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation contributing to the cost of the project. How this is gonna work, and for those of you in the audience who don't know, we are looking at solving a drainage problem at the end of North Street that runs through Veterans Memorial Park and discharges into the pond. We're gonna be putting stormwater practices in to capture and treat the stormwater so all the sediment and nutrients do not get into the pond. That's great. Yeah. And it's been many years in the works. But the first step in this is for us to go into an agreement with the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation for their contribution towards the overall cost of the project. Next meeting, we're going to be doing a couple of things. I had the East of Hudson Corporation actually bid the project out rather than the town have to bid it out. But we are going to take over running the contract. We are going to award the bid and be responsible to the contractor. We will be paying the cost and then getting reimbursement from the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation. Questions?
No.
All right, I'd like to introduce this resolution for approval of a reimbursement agreement with the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation. Ask that the town clerk enter it into the minutes as though read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next, I'm getting all the fun stuff here. We received a letter, actually, to back up and give everybody a little history, we received a request for information from the Putnam Lake Fire Department, from a member of the Putnam Lake Fire Department, questioning how we were managing LoSAP. The way LoSAP is structured currently, the initial LoSAP plan provided a monthly benefit of $20 per month for every month of service. And in 2008, it was changed to provide for $30 per month, a $30 per month benefit. Well, the issue is that people who have been with the fire department for quite some time and initially vested under the $20 plan and have, say, 10 years at $20, and they still work another 20 years at the $30 rate, do they get the 20 plus the 30, or do they get the 30? It ended up in a legal opinion provided by our town attorney, which was based on how the plan was approved back in 2008, that is the first 20 years of service that counts towards the LoSAP benefit. The fire departments are asking to meet with the town board and consider amending the plan so that we allowed for deferred vesting, meaning that if somebody were to work, yeah, again, same scenario, 20 years at, you know, the $20 per month level, and then the next 20 years at the $30, that they would vest at the $30 rate for the whole 20 years. What's your pleasure? They're asking for a meeting.
Well, we have to do the meeting.
And obviously, we should meet with them. And but what does the law say? I mean, isn't that what,
It's not the law, it's the plan that we approve, and it's not even we approve it. If we are going to do this, we are going to have to put this out for a mandatory referendum for the community to approve.
The numbers would be very helpful if we had that scenario as the example, and showing what the difference would be to the person at the end of that 40 years, what their payoff would be. You know, because it's a 50% increase, obviously, on the alternative plan.
right?
But those numbers would put a tangible, to say, oh, it's 20 a month, 30 a month, it's dependent on the number of years, and, you know, I just think that would be a good show and tell.
I've reached out to BFIS, our plan manager, and asked them to provide us that number. I've had a couple of conversations with them now about how to get there, because they're kind of scratching their heads about how to get there, and I kind of gave them some guidance on how I thought we should get there as far as figuring out the actuarial numbers.
Yeah.
As far as what's this gonna cost us. There are complications in this. What do we do with somebody who's already receiving a benefit?
Do we do
Because,
retro, or is it-
again, there was a lawsuit a number of years ago, and we were required to change the plan so that you can actually retire, earn a benefit, and still earn points to improve that benefit. Well, if somebody's, you know, already retired
Yeah,
under the old plan, and they've received that benefit,
yeah.
you know, do we now have to recapture that?
This all falls
So-
back, though, to the idea that we're having such a hard time recruiting volunteers, and this is one mechanism that rewards that service that's so essential to the safety of our community.
That's true, but it benefits the older members,
Right.
not the newer members. The newer members are already vested in the
Right,
better plan.
Well,
Right.
it's kind of like reverse of what you see with the retirement systems, you know, as the people enter into tiers, they're actually getting less benefits, whereas this is more that is they're entering into, you know, volunteering, the benefits are getting better, so, you know, I don't
except
think
that the
that
new
there's.
employees today are gonna make a higher salary when they retire than the older employees did, so it's not the benefit per se that you're changing, it's the salary, if you will.
Right, so
It's not
you know,
like you're changing the terms of the benefit, that's different.
I mean, I certainly would want to have a conversation, but I think that if there's, you know, some that have already retired, I think that that's kind of a closed door right there, and moving forward, that, you know, I don't know if we
what-
want to get into it too much,
It's
but,
not like you're reducing the benefit for those that
Right.
are already
Right.
retired, that'd be a whole different scenario.
But an example that you use is like, if somebody retires from the fire department, then they come back, they unretire. That's what you're saying?
Well, no, once they reach the entitlement age, they're eligible to start collecting their benefit,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So it's not that they ever actually retire.
They
That's
just start
probably an
collecting.
important choice of words, but, you know, they've reached the entitlement age, so they can start collecting the benefit while they're still active in the fire department and continuing to earn points towards the LoSAP system. So if you've got somebody who,
Probably a fault of the way the system's set up.
you know, has only got 10 or 12 years in,
Yeah.
and yet has reached their entitlement age, they can start collecting a benefit, even though they haven't retired, and continue to earn more towards that 20-year goal.
That's analogous to somebody retiring from a job teaching and then coming back and doing that identical job while still collecting a pension and doing the same job and collecting a full salary. It takes exception from the school district and the state to approve that, but people do that, and that's very, very similar to what you're talking about. I mean, not just in teaching, it's in a lot of jobs,
Yep.
but that's kind of what we're talking about. I think we need to talk to the fire department, understand the numbers, and start kicking this around. See if we can come to some consensus on it that works for the taxpayers and the fire department.
You want to do this next week, or you want to wait a couple of weeks?
No, I think we can do it whenever we can get everybody together.
Yeah.
Sooner the better, because we're getting into budget season very, very, very quickly, so.
Some of us are already there.
I know.
All right, so I will reach out to the fire department. I'll try to set something up for next week.
Great.
That's good.
Have a preliminary conversation. All right, executive session, I'll defer to the end of the session. It's a personnel discussion. Other business.
I have one thing. We have received a memo from the Putnam Lake Fire Department advising us that they have accepted a new member, Geraldo Salvatore Mocha,
Thank you.
Brewster, New York. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve that member to the Putnam Lake Fire Department. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Just want to note that the supervisor gave us a little bit of bad news via email recently that we did not get the grant that we applied for to assist with the boardwalk project for the Patterson Great Swamp. We'd applied for essentially a $12,000 grant. I think it was matching funds or matching in-kind services and $6,000. So we still have money from the Soil and Water Board, Putnam County, who is dedicated to this project. And we will be seeking additional funding, hopefully through our budget to some extent. So we are still committed to the project. We just were hoping for that piece to follow this project, and it has not. So we'll continue to brainstorm on it and see what we can do.
We'll get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a big item. It's just worth noting.
Anyone
But
else?
thank you for the work that you did on the application, you and Lori Taylor. I know it's still, grants are a pain in the butt, so you gotta go after them, otherwise
You got to chase them constantly.
So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Anyone going to be invited into an executive session?
Might be.
Should you note it? You think you should note it?
You want me to note it on the record?
You should.
Okay, I would like, wow. I would like to invite Ms. DePippo into executive session with us. Okay? Anyone else? All right, I have one last thing. I unfortunately did not have the time to do as much as I wanted to do before this meeting, being as we still have the state auditors here, DEC auditors coming in. But having said that, I would like to publicly acknowledge the Putnam Lake Fire Department. We, a few years ago, started an EMS service, and they were gracious enough to extend their hospitality to house our ambulance, and they have done so for a number of years. And we wouldn't have been as successful as we are without their help and their support. We have recently this week relocated over to the Patterson Fire Department firehouse. We did so because it is transportation-wise more centrally located, and 40% of the volume of our calls are coming from actually Clover Lake, so this gets us, to Clover Lake a little bit quicker. But, again, Putnam Lake Firehouse, Putnam Lake Fire Department members were just outstanding in helping out the town when we started this up, so I'd like to publicly thank them for all that and intend to send them over a certificate of recognition.
Very nice, thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Public recognition.
Karen Powers, representing Patterson Library. We have a number of programs that I'd like to talk to you about. Tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, we have our summer concert, and it's the concert is from the Great American Songbook, which is a collection of extremely familiar melodies to everybody, and so it should be kind of fun to go there. Also, before the concert, at 5 o'clock, we'll be celebrating the ribbon cutting ceremony on a patio, which is ADA compliant. Adults with Disabilities Act compliant. It gives access to the park to people in wheelchairs. So, and I believe there's a reception with food, and everybody is invited. We also will have a program on Wednesday, August 21st, which is just next week at 1 p.m. And what we're going to do is pick and cook vegetables from our library garden, and we'll be learning how to create tasty dishes for you and your family with the Cornell Cooperative Extension. Lastly, on September 18th at 7 p.m., Frank Padala of the Staatsburg State Historic Site will be sharing tales of the Titanic. And he'll be sharing tales from the point of view of those who traveled in luxury. I wish I were going to be here for that one, actually. Also, there was some concern last time I was here, and that was a long time ago, about museum passes. And so I brought in a new brochure. And that new brochure was put together including all of the new destinations because of you, because of your concern. Okay, so I'd like to give some of those out, and so you all know where you can go and what kind of passes they are, whether they're just vouchers or actual passes, and all the new places are included. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say it wasn't concern, it was appreciation for the great benefit that this is to
There was
families.
some concern about them not being used
Oh,
enough.
well, concern that people don't know, that's why we talk about them all the
Right,
time.
but they do,
Good.
actually. And we have multiple passes for some
Thank you.
of these places. For example, the Intrepid has 4 passes because it's such a popular place. So
Very nice.
more than one person
Thank
can
you
go at
kindly.
the same time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for
very much.
coming.